Fighting game TikTok, we need to have a talk. There's an attitude in our community that needs to stop. And that attitude is that new players don't matter. Or more specifically, new players matter less than the people who have already decided that they like the genre. Luckily, the most skilled players usually don't have this opinion. It's kind of the mid-level intermediate players that have the opinion, screw anyone else who doesn't already like fighting games already. Focus on making your established fan base happy, and then forget everything else. I want to talk to you as someone who's worked in the industry. This is a horrible attitude. In fact, it's this attitude, this anti-growth mindset, that makes new fighting game proposals get laughed out of investor meetings. Because the numbers don't agree. Fighting games that only appeal to the hardcore base tend to struggle, whereas fighting games that appeal to the common gamer tend to do very well. I mean, the best-selling fighting game of all time is Smash Brothers. But even if you look at traditional fighting games, you'll see a pattern. Grand Blue Fantasy Versus sold incredibly, because it had a good IP and it had one-button specials and it was easily accessible. Guilty Gear Strive is the best-selling Guilty Gear of all time. It's also the simplest in terms of mechanics. Now, I could say that there's just not enough of the hardcore base out there to make money, but it's a little more complicated than that. In fact, the hardcore base is so dedicated and willing to adapt, that's exactly why you don't have to work to please them. Like, I'm saying this as an industry insider. There has never, ever been a single fighting game ever that has failed because the hardcore base was disappointed with its newbie mechanics. Ever. We constantly say things about worrying that a new video game is going to alienate its core fan base, but that has never happened with fighting games. Because the fighting game fan base adapts to be competitive. Even if there are some design decisions they don't like, they figure it out and they play because they want to get better. Yes, some people do drop new fighting games because they don't like the changes in the mechanics, but that's no more than any people drop any other new installment of any other fighting games. There is no statistical significance. So this idea of being afraid of alienating the hardcore fan base, that's a boogeyman. It is not something that developers have to credibly worry about, and here's a secret, they don't. That's not to say existing fans don't matter, of course they matter. It's just that game developers usually know fans better than they know themselves. And what they know better about fighting game fans is that they're gonna purchase the game. They've never organized a boycott. We're addicted to trying new fighting games. They already have us. And by the way, it's not just fighting games. Any genre is largely measured by its success at bringing in new players and making them stick. So when you guys say prioritize the existing fans first, it goes against all good business sense. Existing fighting game fans have stuck through move buffers, stuck through auto combos, stuck through one-button specials, stuck through every measure that was supposed to bring in new players. They have never been alienated. And maybe if we stop invoking this boogeyman, we could actually think about how to make the fighting game scene grow.